Today Ornob's summary is listening to William Cooper's Dark Psychology and Manipulation. Think of a man standing in front of you whom you don't know, but he just controlled your brain and your thoughts and even your decisions within 5 seconds. Not afraid. This is the game of dark psychology. Dark psychology means mental techniques that can be used to influence people's control or drive at will. Maybe you think it's not possible with me, but believe me, every day unknowingly we are victims of this trick. Sometimes in advertising, sometimes in a relationship, sometimes in the office, while talking to someone. In this audio we will learn the mysterious techniques that you can know to enter the human mind yourself. Today you will know how to bring someone under your control through words, vision, and even silence. Dark Psychology 1. Reverse Psychology. Reverse Psychology. You can never do it. Hearing this sentence, did you suddenly have a stubbornness? Maybe you say, "Who said I can't? I will show." This normal yet complex emotional response is called reverse psychology. Reverse psychology is a psychological technique where you start saying the exact opposite when you want to do something. Suppose you want your child to eat vegetables. If you say you have to eat these things, he may not eat them. But if you say that you are not old enough to eat vegetables like adults, then maybe he will want to prove that I grew up and started eating. If you take away or instruct people wants to react against. Once upon a time, the psychologist, Dr. Victor Estres, said that if man thinks that something is being imposed on him, he will walk the opposite way only to prove his freedom. This mentality has been used for centuries in politics, war, love, and even revolution. Let's go back to the pages of history. The case of England King Charles I of 1649 is on trial, and he is accused of his abuse of power. Then a group in Parliament wants to punish him, and a group wants to spare him. One day a diplomat in Parliament, Henry Martin, made a statement in which he said, "Charles is the representative of King God. We have no right to punish him." That's when the anger increases. People keep saying, "Why not? Charles is a criminal." Henry knew that everyone would be hesitant to say it directly, so he lost the opposite way. His statement was a paradigm of reverse psychology. This trick increased public anger and eventually led to Charles's execution. Let's see another darkest chapter in history between Germany and Adolf Hitler. In the 1930s, Hitler was one of the minds of the German people wanted to introduce the idea that all the problems in Germany are due to the Jewish community. But he didn't say it directly. But his propaganda minister, Joseph Goebbels, repeatedly said that some people said Jews were harming us. But I say everyone has to judge with their own eyes. It was a direct counter-effect strategy. They knew that when someone said "don't believe," people would be more curious. Reverse psychology is not only in politics or war, but also in the world of love. Did you notice this offer, as some ads? Not for everyone, or only those who are brave can take this challenge, throwing them directly, as if you want to prove yourself that you are the right person. This is the reverse psychology of marketing, where you are led in the opposite direction and bought products. Even Steve Jobs once said, "They don't even know what people want." All magic has a dark side until you show them the opposite. Relationships can break if reverse psychology is used more or misapplied. People can feel it being deceived, or his freedom is dishonored. Even if someone wants to control someone mentally using it, it becomes emotional manipulation. So to use this technique, caution and humanity are both necessary. Human mind is very strange. It's not what he wants to hear. What he is afraid of losing is given more importance. And based on this mentality, a terrible strategy was born. Reverse psychology. Be it a king, a lover, a politician, or a parent, everyone has taken the help of this strategy at some point or the other. But the question is, did you ever know? Maybe someone controlled you just like this. Think about it. Maybe in your life too. Someone said one day you can't do it, and you did it in response. This is the secret of walking the opposite way of mind, a dark but eternally effective mind game. Dark psychology 2. Manipulative negotiation. The psychological technique of clever and cunning discussion. If your real goal is 100, want 200. If you don't want to give me a small promise. And if you don't want to lose, first give the opponent a taste of winning. These words are made in the shadow of history. The word negotiation, the conference room, came to mind when I heard it. Photo of corporate agreement, statesman's talks. But manipulative negotiation is different. It is not just a compromise between the two sides. It is a deceitful game where one does not understand the opponent and earns his wish. Here are some dark tricks used. The anchoring bias is the first to make a rash or shocking claim. Good cop, bad cop. One is gentle and the other is tough and distracts the opponent. Time pressure is stressful with time. Guillot tripping makes the other party feel guilty. False scarcity will not last long on this offer to say. That is, creating and each trick is arranged as if the opponent thinks he is making the decision himself. But the whole thing was part of the plan. Let's go to the discussion table of France and America in the year 1803 in the pages of history. At that time, American President Thomas Jefferson wanted to buy the New Orleans area. On the other hand, the French ruler Napoleon is busy in the war in Europe and needs money. Napoleon's envoy said, "You can buy not only New Orleans, but also the whole of Louisiana." Jefferson was startled at first. The whole of Louisiana meant doubling the size of America. But the price is only $15 million. Napoleon's objective was quick cash, and Jefferson's party was small. But at the beginning of the discussion, Napoleon made an anchoring bay with such a big offer. Jefferson's team thinks it would be a big mistake to miss it. As a result, the United States bought a large area under the pressure of time. Manipulative negotiation is not always for money. Sometimes it is for power grab. The event was World War II. Britain and America and the Soviet Union are fighting against the Nazis. But all three know who is how much. After the war, it will also be determined in the current discussion. Winston Churchill realized that Britain could take advantage if Stalin and Roosevelt suspected each other. So he was completely neutral in the discussion and sometimes incited both sides against each other secretly. This is called divide and concussion negotiation. It was within this division that Churchill was able to impose his terms, such as maintaining British influence in Greece. Let's talk about the technology world in 1997. Apple was on the verge of destruction. Steve Jobs is back at the company, and Microsoft is at that time. Steve Jobs is thinking of buying Apple in a discussion with Microsoft. Everyone thought that Apple would surrender to Microsoft, but Jobs told Microsoft that if you want to save Apple, you have to invest. If you buy, you will have problems. Then Microsoft will be a Chetia business. It was an extraordinary reverse thread strategy that he intimidated Microsoft, without fearing what would happen if they don't help. The result is that Microsoft invests $150 million in Apple. This is manipulative negotiation, where even after losing at the negotiating table you win. Manipulative negotiation is not only limited to politics or business, but also has a profound effect on maintaining the relationship. Many people use this technique to maintain the relationship, sometimes consciously and sometimes subconsciously, like if you really love me, do it. Emotional blackmail works here. I gave everything for you. Now you will not do this little thing. It's guilt leverage. These strategies can destroy relationships because they contain control and weakness the game. Have you ever seen such an offer for this product just until nightfall? All these are part of a technique called scarcity pressure, which is slowly forced with decisions during negotiations. Many salespeople only use such techniques orally. Like, I couldn't help but tell a decent person like you. If you agree, I can tell the manager to bring 5% more, but the discount is fixed in advance. How do you know you've been cheated on? Have you been cheated? Watch out. If someone number one wants to be in too much of a hurry, understand and hide something. Be careful trying to be number two, extra compliments or friends too quickly. Number 3 is an attempt to create guilt in words. It is a sign of control. Remember, good discussion means reconciliation between the two sides. But where only one party benefits, you may be emotionally influenced. Manipulative negotiation is a mysterious game, where the cleverest player wins by playing rice with his mind and not with words. It could be in a corporate boardroom at a president's meeting, or at a dining table in the room. Every time you think this asterisk, I took the decision myself. Stop and think if you really made a decision, or were you influenced by someone's subtle tricks. Open your eyes, listen, because many times the direction of life changes at the discussion table. Postal psychology, gaslighting with positive reinforcement, praise and cheating behind love. Human mind is a dark sphere puzzle where some people rule and some people rule today. We will talk about an invisible weapon with which people are slowly broken and then rebuilt. Willing name is his gaslighting with positive reinforcement. It's not just simple manipulation, it's an art, a psychological game where the victim doesn't even realize he's become a playground. Gaslighting, the word, comes from a 1944 cult classic movie, Gas Light, where a husband slowly drives his wife crazy. But gaslighting is not just about romantic relationships, it is politics, business, and even hides in big events in history. But gaslighting with positive reinforcement is more terrifying, because here, the victim is first loved, praised, rewarded as forgotten. Then slowly, its reality is destroyed. Suppose your boss told you, "You are amazing, but today's presentation is every for a talented person like you." What happened here? First, you are given positive reinforcement as excellent. Then gradually your confidence is restored. After a few days, you will start thinking for yourself whether I am really good. This is positive gaslighting, a silent brainwashing technique. Let's go back to the pages of history. The dictator of Soviet Russia, Joseph Stalin, was the great guru of gaslighting. He not only killed his political rivals, but also made them believe till the last moment that they themselves were the most feared tactics of their enemy. Stalin, positive persecution, promoted and rewarded someone before arresting them. Then suddenly he declared the person as an enemy and hung himself in a smile. Stalin's once close associate, Nikolai Bukharin, was first given the title of Soviet hero. Then one day, he was made an enemy of the nation and sentenced to death. Bukharin court, before death he said, "I myself admit my guilt." This is the final stage of gaslighting, where the victim testifies against himself. Hitler also used this technique. Adolf Hitler was not only a dictator, he was a psychological warfare expert. He gaslighted the German people with positive nationalism. His propaganda mantra was the Germans master race, but the Jews kept us weak. Hitler first told the Germans that you were the best nation in the world to produce positive reinforcements. Then he would say, "But the Jews are destroying you." Gaslighting, this double technique, was so powerful that even the common people started to believe that the Jews are really their enemies, and it was in jail of this belief that Holocaust. Gaslighting is now not only a tool of the rulers or directors of the Psi, it is now a corporate world romantic relationship, even on social media. Suppose your boyfriend or girlfriend tells you every day that you are my life, but if you can lose a little weight, then it will be more perfect. First love, then slowly your loss of self-esteem. This is romantic gaslighting. How to avoid gaslighting? Keep the #1 record. Gaslighters target your memory, so write things down. Number 2, trust your gut. If someone hesitates you again and again, it's a red flag. Number 3, set boundaries. If someone gives you positive criticism, ask how it will actually help. Remember, no one has a right over your mind. Gaslighters are strong, but they have no power to truth and self-awareness. Most of history's big weapons are never swords or guns. The greatest weapon is to control the human mind. Gaslighting with positive reinforcement is a fine version of that weapon, and the only way to fight against it is to be aware, because one who knows how to Live dark psychology for love withdrawal. Love is a tool of punishment. One man loves another. This relationship of love is soft and sheltered, but if this love suddenly becomes a weapon, if that love starts a cruel mental game, today we will say such a darkness mental strategy is love withdrawal, i.e. withdrawal of love. It's not just about ending a breakup or a relationship. It is a cruel psychological game in which one person threatens to withdraw love to control the other person, or directly takes away that love. This trick comes hidden around us. In love, in family, in politics, and even in the pages of history. Suppose someone loves you very much. Lover, wife, friend, or even your parents. Suddenly they said, if you don't do it, then two can't love you anymore. If you don't change, I'll leave. These words may seem like the words of a mere arrogant lover or guardian, but behind it lies a deep deception. It's a trick where love is used as a weapon of punishment and control. The root of this trick is that many parents in our childhood discipline their children and say, good children don't do that. If you do that, I'll be angry. I won't talk. The child is afraid of losing the love of parents. Fear of losing love is the beginning of love withdrawal. That child grows up. Love has often been a political tool in history, using the same weapon at work in love, marriage, friendship. Queen Cleopatra of Egypt was extremely intelligent and clever. He falls in love with Julius Caesar, ruler of Rome. But it wasn't just love, it was a trick. Cleopatra knew that her kingdom would not survive without the power of Rome, so he attracted Caesar with love. But when Caesar went to do something against Cleopatra's will, he would withdraw his affection and love. A kind of prophet withdrawal in this technique. He not only subjugated Caesar to his love, but also influenced his political decisions. In America, in the 1960s, a devout singer named Charles Manson controlled a group of young women claiming to be serious. He used to tell them that if you didn't listen to me, the fear and love of God would be lost. Manson's blind fans would throw them out of the family if anyone disobeyed him. This is how Manson created a terrible mental bondage, as a result of which something happens: brutal murder. In today's age, this technique has become more sophisticated. When a narcissistic man wants to control his lover or lover, he first fills him with the moisture of love. Everyday gifts are compliments. Love is like a paradise of love. But suddenly, that man moved away. Stop communication, or say you haven't changed, so I can't love like before. This behavior breaks a person's self-esteem. That way, if I change, he will come back. Thus a man gradually lost his own identity throwaway. By the history of the Mughal Empire, Sikha was the eldest son of Shah Jahan, liberal-minded and philosophical. His brother Aurangzeb was a staunch religious and power-hungry. Aurangzeb kept a false friendship for a long time by masking Dara with love and brotherhood. But when Dara became a claimant to the throne of the empire, Aurangzeb gradually withdrew his love from him. In the end, Dara was defeated and executed. Here too, there was politics of devotion behind the mask of love. Love is a terrifying royal form of withdrawal. Need to avoid the terrible effects of love withdrawal? Asterisk, asterisk, the trick is like a sweet poison, which gradually breaks a person mentally, takes away self-esteem, and creates an invisible order. So be aware. Try to understand. Are you really getting love, or the game of one's mind? Dark Psychology 5, Playing the Victim. Acting when the power of compassion in this world is immense. When we see tears in someone's eyes, we move forward and extend a helping hand. But if someone uses this sympathy as a tool for our own interests, today we will know about a dark mental strategy, playing the victim, i.e. to dress oneself innocent or oppressed so as to gain the kindness, sympathy, and control of others. It's not just a crying face, it's a game of deep deception where the victim is wearing a guilty mask and the innocent is made a criminal. I didn't do anything. Everyone misunderstands me. You must have heard this a lot. This is the main strategy of playing the victim. If a man repeatedly tells his story of sorrow or misery as if he was always deprived, then no one dares to ask questions. He dresses up as a victim to cover up his mistakes. Weakly feel yourself to make others feel guilty by highlighting, "You won't understand me if you lose the argument." And most seriously, sometimes he harms himself. May others feel sad. This habit started in childhood. Suppose a child has made a mistake and his parents are disciplining, and then he starts crying and tumbles on the floor. "So you don't love me." Parents become weak and comfort me instead of ruling. King
The
Henry
child
VIII
learns to cry
marrying
means
Catherine of
protection.
Aragon.
This child
But
is
after
the
a few
victim
days,
mindset.
a clever
This child
woman, Annie
grows up
Boleyn,
and shows
fell
pride
in love
to
with
loved
him.
ones.
Annie
and
knew
blames
Catherine
them for
was a
his
pious
own
and
and
respected
respected
1600s England, so he dressed as a victim and saluted the king. He says, "I am a single woman, all against me." By doing this, he weakened the king's mind. The king gradually abandoned Catherine. Annie eventually became queen. But after some time, the king realized that this victim game was hanged by Annie herself. The tragic consequences of playing the victim. A horror in the world of modern love. Mental trap is emotional manipulation through Suppose a boyfriend calls late every day, promises but does not keep. When you complain, he says, "You won't understand how stressed I am. You always blame me. I just love." This is how he covers his own faults and makes you feel guilty. You apologize repeatedly, but the culprit is the real form of the victim game. Muzaffar was Siraj Dowlah's trusted commander during the 1757 Battle of Palashi, but he betrayed the British. When Siraj suspects him, Muzaffar dresses up as a victim. He said, "I am loyal to you, but you doubt me." As a result of this accusation, Siraj sympathized with Muzaffar, and on that occasion, Muzaffar joined hands with the British and paved the way for the capture of Bengal. Playing the victim changes the history of Bengal here. It brings about the destruction of not just one, but one nation. To avoid this strategy, it is necessary to judge with logic and not emotion. There is repeated forgiveness to analyze the situation, to understand the true purpose of the one who repeatedly covers his guilt as a victim. Holding your position firmly without guilt. Love means understanding, but not stupid sympathy. Playing the victim. This technique may hide in someone's cry, someone's pride, someone's silence. But its impact is dire. It breaks the relationship, disorientates people. Everyone feels guilty. It is a game where, even if there are tears in the eyes, the heart hides a cruel move. So keep your eyes and ears open. Give sympathy. Stand by the victim. But if someone is playing victim, then understand his play. Because deception is never permanent. Dark psychology, sex idealization, and devolution. And the sky throw it to the ground. Once upon a time you were the most valuable person to anyone. The light of life is inspiration or God. And suddenly one day you became a vessel of unnecessary neglected contempt. What happened? You are the same as before. Today we will know a strange, but deadly psychological techniques are idealization and devaluation. It means worshipping first, destroy later. It is in love. Breakups happen, friendships happen, politics happen. Even war has given rise to murder in the pages of history. Idealization means someone is extra high-handed over to the pedestal, as if he could do no wrong. And devaluation means suddenly contempt, belittling, blaming that person. This technique is often seen in narcissistic individuals. At first, they love someone as if they were the best person in the world. Then when that person fails to fulfill their expectations, then starts neglect, humiliation, mental torture. It is not only relationship, but also people's confidence, personality, self-respect. Can destroy everything first. Tell a lover, "I will not live. Without you, you are the man of my dreams. There is no one like you in this world." You believe that you opened the door of the heart. But after a few days, he slowly starts looking for weakness. A small mistake, a wrong word, and you become a self-boring, emotional bird. Then the divorce comes to the place of love. It was that he used to give you flowers one day. He rolled his eyes and said that 1,000 children like you are available. Today, in the game of ups and downs, you gradually lose your value. Napoleon, world-famous French commander. An emperor, he fought many commanders in the beginning. He used to praise them excessively and introduced them as unstoppable generals. Once he declared to Marshal Ney that you were the bravest of the brave. But when Ney did not agree to some of his decisions, Napoleon insulted him in front of the people, suspects as a traitor. This same technique Napoleon applied to his wife Josephine, first the goddess of love, then the unfaithful wife. In this way he acquired the devotion and obedience of people by idealization, and he would break it with a devaluation when they were no longer convenient. Idealization-devaluation techniques are the favorite weapon of narcissistic people. They will present you first as if you were a god from heaven, almost makes you a magic mirror. If you show him great in his reflection, then you are dear. But if one day you say you are wrong, then that mirror breaks. Then the devaluation comes, you are not like before you. Don't understand me, you belittle me. This journey destroys confidence. You keep doubting whether I am really so bad. After partition of India, many political leaders, the crown of glory was taught to them. Idealize this leader will save Bengal. This man is the savior of the nation. But when that leader joins hands with other parties for the greed of power, then the people and media start hating him as a traitor, selfish, even the enemy of the nation. Idealization, devaluation here becomes a public opinion. Management strategy 1 is first made a god, then Satan. Parents, when one child is better than all brothers and sisters. Abhinav, Dev thinks of children, then the rest of the children become devalued, and the child who does something wrong is then in the list of cursed children. Competition, inferiority complex, decline of confidence are born in this game. Idealization is never love. It is almost a trap of the mind. Be careful if someone starts loving you too much in a short time to know this trick. If you forget a little, that person starts to see you in the opposite way than before. But understand that the divorce has started. Those who shout your good points but throw you away when they see the flaws are the makers of this mental trap. Idealization and devaluation are two mental techniques. Shadows like ghosts create in people's minds. First brings you up to heaven and then pushes you to the underworld. But aren't you the one who stands on his own merits? Aren't you worth without someone's compliments? Today understand, if someone suddenly makes you a god, be careful because maybe he is trying to break you. Love yourself. Be realistic. Your self-esteem does not depend on any idealization or devaluation. Dax psychology 7-foot door technique entered through a small door and occupied the palace. One knocked on the door. He said, "Will it be a minute? I will ask you only a small question." Said, "Say yes," then 5 minutes, then 30 minutes. Then you agreed on something. You never thought about his foot in the door technique. Start with something small, build trust, then impose real demand. Today, we will know from Audible how this technique changed world history, and how every day we are also victims, unknowingly. Foot in the door means making a small request to someone first so that he says no. When he says yes once, big requests are pressed step by step. The power of this strategy is in psychology. Consistency principle. At that moment someone once said yes to you. Their mind says, "I already said yes. If I don't say it now, my previous decision will be inconsistent." In this oscillating state, people gradually agree to big decisions, even if that was against his ideals. In 1966, psychologists Jonathan Friedman and Scott Fraser conducted an experiment in California. First, they make a small request to some house owners. "Can I put a small sticker on your house window? It says drive carefully." Majority agreed. 2 weeks later they came again. Now request wants to install a huge board in front of your house. It will say drive safe. Of those who agreed to the earlier small request, 76% agreed to the huge request this time. On the other hand, only 17% of those who had heard nothing before agreed. That's the foot-in-the-door technique in the 1930s. Hitler's Nazi group could not prepare German citizens for genocide in a single day. They started small changes. First, posters that don't go to Jewish shops. Then send Jews to separate schools. Then take away their civil rights first, to the common people. He thought it wasn't much, but once they agreed, they couldn't say no to the next step. Thus, from small requests to sending an entire nation to a gas chamber, it was a cruel foot-in-the-door operation. The East India Company was the first businessman in India. Just a small trading post, they said, we will only do business. Later they got involved in the conflict of the local ruler. Then the state began to occupy. Once the whole of India belonged to the British Empire. We will only take some salt at the beginning. The last one you see in our people was the perfect foot in the door. Form's choice changes, even affects politics. Foot-in-the-door technique has entered digital here. Ask yourself before saying yes every time you can protect yourself. What did I want it to be? If someone starts being extra humble and understands that the next level is coming, set your own emotional boundaries. Learn to say no. First, the little one can open the door to your future in a place that you didn't want. If you say yes to someone's request, it's not his success, it's your permission. Give one consciously small yes, not just a word. It can be a beginning of change, a form of history, a small kindness. One can't deny a step into a closed door that one day can destroy a house. Think before saying yes from today. Why am I saying this yes? What else can come next? Our daily small decisions one day stand in front of huge results. Know yourself. Keep your decisions in your hands. Now you realize these hidden techniques of dark psychology are not just buoy. Daily use in real life, around USB. Sometimes it is a seller's smile, sometimes a friend's talk trap, and sometimes it is a game of emotion control in the name of relationship. The question is, will you be a victim in this game, or become that master of mind? Remember, knowledge is the only shield and sword. The more you know, the less you fall into the trap of others. And if you want, you can use the same knowledge to spread your influence on others. But the greater the power, the greater the responsibility. Postal psychology is not just a brainwashing weapon. It can also be a tool to change your life. Good or bad, that depends on your hands. If you like the video, then definitely like this video. Comment which tricks surprised you the most. And subscribe to Ornob Summary to get such beautiful audiobooks regularly. Because remember that in this world, the key of the mind is in his hands, with the real control